I've used this contraption here with the two light bulbs and the power point in a few videos in the past. Here it's being used as a dummy load, where the light bulbs are just connected to some power source to test its ability to provide enough power to run them. And in this instance, you can see it at the top of the picture just below the variac. The two bulbs they're in parallel with each other, but they're in series with that old radio at the front. And as the power is wound up on the variac, you can see the voltage going up on that meter there, but the bulb's also lighting up dimly, so it's limiting the current that the radio can draw, and if there was a fault in there it would stop it being damaged. So that's another major use of such a thing, to limit the power going into mains operated devices that are being tested. And to use it in those two modes, as a dummy load and as a current limiter, I've had to rewire it each time, so I want to make it into something a bit more robust that protects the bulbs, and also something that's easier to switch between those two modes, and I want to incorporate that little meter as part of the unit. So this is what I've done. So there it is with the parts installed on the front panel and the four sides screwed together, but I think I'll take these off to do the wiring up. I've still got to put in the sockets, two sockets for the light bulbs, and it'll be easy to wire up if I take these away. And there, that's screwed down, there's screwed down. This is pretty snug, but I think I'll just put a bit of hot snot on the back there to keep it in place. So there it is, all wired up. I was going to have two of the Edison screw battens, so that I could use two of these 150 watt bulbs to get 300 watts, but as you can see it takes a while to screw these in and change them over, whereas the bayonet fitting on the other batten is very easy to change. You can put in 100, 25, 40, 75 watt bulbs in just a second or two, compared with if I had to muck around screwing them. So I've always got the option of changing it to one of these, but I don't think I'll bother at the moment. I've left enough spacing to do that. These big bulbs usually only come with Edison screws, I think, but maybe they come with battens. But there's enough space between them, and the box is big enough to put two of them in if I want to. So there it is, wired up. Bit of insulation around there. I mean, you'd have to actually be trying, I think, to touch any of those while changing a bulb, but I'll try and put something in there to put over that to reduce the chances, but not sure what, because it has to be something plasticky that can take the heat. Anyway, I'll put the sides on and show you how it works. Alright, I'm powering it through the variac. Something I didn't notice before, this display, which is the same on both of them, is not very visible at an angle, because this faceplate is angled. I've never noticed it, but on here it's quite hard to see unless it's tilted up. But anyway, I've got 75 watt bayonet bulb in there and 150 watt Edison, though it's not fully screwed in now. So there's a dummy load, just put in dummy load mode. The bulb comes on and it draws 30 watts because we're only giving it 120 volts. If we turn it up to 240, it's drawing 80 according to that, and according to this only 70, so one of them's wrong. I suspect it's this one, but in this case it does seem closer to 75 than that one does. Alright, turn it down a bit, don't need to run at full voltage all the time. I can increase the load by incorporating this as well, so now from 30 watts if it's disconnected, goes up to 70, 80, and at 230 volts, 240 volts, we've got 230 watts load, around about what you'd expect, 150 plus 75, but that's a bit bright, so we'll run at a lower voltage. So that's dummy load mode, and bypass switch does nothing. So now, as a current limiter, I'll just use this router and as a load. And if I turn that on now, dummy load, we've just got all these bulbs and that connected. So without the router, turn that off. Actually, turn it off, yeah. Turn off the router, we're only putting in 160 volts, so we're drawing 110 watts of these two together. Take out that, drops down to 40, put it in, and then we add the load of the router. So 180 odd. Now if we go to, take that out, go to current limit mode, now that router is going through that 75 watt bulb and it's just not letting enough through. It's got too high a resistance, so the motor stops. If I put this in circuit, we've got both bulbs in series with the motor now, and both bulbs in parallel, but those in series with the motor, and we're getting 60 watts, and I can bypass the current limit altogether, just and cuts the bulbs out and full power goes to the load, or I can limit it. We'll give it more volts in the variac, bulbs get brighter, current goes up. Full power to the router, or limit through the bulbs. If I disconnect this one, even through the 70 watt bulb, 75 watt bulb, it's enough, just enough to run the router and the bulbs at full brightness. No, it's not enough to run the router. No, can't run. It needs the lower resistance of 2 bulbs. So there you have it. It'll be useful for current limit to stop things burning out, and dummy load to see how things that supply mains power are affected by various loads on them, because I want to play with some phase control circuits, and so I need a dummy load to see how they're behaving. Hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe if you want to see more of this nonsense, and catch you later.